you have seen your children play these videos on their, on their phones, or if you have given your child a phone, like I have. But as many parents, most of us do not monitor what our children consume on these platforms. And lately, they seem to be consuming these short format videos of like your block something. There's this thing. It's loud. It's, for me, I just can't stand it. You've got cocomelons and all sorts of short videos there that are programming the children to funny things. One. Two, these short videos are also interrupting their mental development and all sorts of things, sleep patterns, they do, and because they've got, repetitive colors and, noisy things. Basically, these short videos are not doing our children any favors. And those smarter than me have been doing some studies and looking at this thing, and they agree with me that these short videos are actually not doing well for our kids. And my colleague in the morning, before I stepped in, when I was talking about this, went in deep about the medulla and what. Hey, those were big words. Now I've got a doctor, who is going to lay it all down for us. Dr. Keitumetse Mashego, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
I hope I did try and, elaborate on this pandemic that's, befalling our children. What's going on here, Doc?
I think we sometimes undermine the brain, and that it's such a sensitive and powerful part of our bodies, right? We assume that whatever we feed it will be good for it, but it's also a bit gullible in that whatever you feed it, it doesn't question it. So that's how you get people become addicted to substances or even watching things on television, for example, because of that dopamine impact. So there's a neurotransmitter in the brain, the reward system. This is called the dopamine. So how these videos are made usually, or how they are put on the platform, is that they trigger that dopamine release. Therefore, it's rewarding for the children who watch it, or even for adults, right? And what happens is with dopamine, we want more. We want more, we want more, and we want immediate gratification, which then becomes a problem in the children because they still need to know how to handle study periods, right, that are longer than 10 minutes. They need to sit and concentrate for about an hour at a time sometimes. So that's where it becomes problematic.
And that's where now we get to say they've got ADHD because they cannot sit still. So these videos you're saying are contributing to that.
They can trigger that. So what happens is someone who's already struggling or who has a predisposition for ADHD, what happens is when they go and watch these videos, they give them what they need basically for that dopamine neurotransmitter. So in essence, it's not necessarily causing it, but it's making the child then struggle even more, or they even, it almost exacerbates the issue. So meaning they were predisposed for ADHD, and now because they are feeding this constant instant gratification videos to their brain, when they get to class, they become more problematic, and then we really must get them to see a psychiatrist to help them manage the concentration. But definitely it does impact the concentration, and children also then who are predisposed to watching these things, they tend to not want to sit or to go through boring tasks, mundane tasks, because the dopamine is not as excited as when they watch the videos.
Okay. Now, we live in a social media age, and we, like I said, I bought my kids a phone, and they're constantly on these social media platforms consuming this media. How does that, contributing to making the kids dumber, to lack of a better word?
They call it brain rot. That's a better word. Okay. I don't know if it's better word. The brain starts, basically they call it the brain rot phenomena, where the brain just becomes lazy because it's usually fed these instant things, right? But yes. Now those things of thinking deeper about things, studying, Like it's just easier to put it into chat GTP, for example, or AI to get what you need from it. So why must I sit? So which means that now the abstract thinking ability is impacted, that the language development, because remember also children their brains are still growing, so they get adapted or they form a habit of these short-term learning, but it's not what we need in the future generation. We need deep thinkers sometimes. We need people who question things. We need people who come up with new theories, right? But if they are fed or they get used to this short, if there's an impulse control can be a problem as well. So if we get it constantly feeding them this behavior, then it becomes problematic in the future, definitely.
Talk to me about them. These videos eroding boundaries. What are these boundaries? Yeah. Are these the boundaries of knowing right from wrong and good from bad? Talk to me more about that.
So it becomes, there's different ways to look at boundaries. Remember now, because they're constantly watching these, so they can also have what we call impulse control issues, right? Where they just want to click and watch and move on to the next thing that can be more exciting, right? So what they've been watching tends to get boring. So now when parents now put rules around someone who has been allowed to just do what they please on the phone, it becomes difficult for them to actually listen to authority when they say no. Because why are you saying no? It'll be quick. I just want to do this quickly, right? It's almost like an addict where unfortunately dopamine does not know right or wrong, meaning you get the same dopamine effect when you lose, also the same effect when you win. Meaning if you're a gambler and you're addicted, the dopamine does not know when you're winning or losing. It just, is fed by you going back to the slots to gamble. So we need to understand that the brain, as I said, is so powerful, but it's also very gullible.
So we're creating gamblers at an early age, basically.
Definitely, because when we see children unable to actually get off their phones, it's because we have triggered that addiction behavior in their brain, and therefore we also for them to stop, we need to introduce the new habit or something healthier for them to do. That's why it's important to set boundaries around how long they're on the phone for, and watch the content that that they actually indulge in, and make sure that they understand that social media is not a real place.
All right.
Because sometimes I think we forget that it's not a real place. Just because I'm posting my video there, doing the things that I do, does not necessarily mean this is how life should be, or that you should do the same. So we need to really emphasize that it's entertainment, and it should be short term and not before you sleep, and there should be a limitation of screen time.
Dr. Mashego, Dr. Mashego, can we hold it there? There's a lot to unbutton on this one. Hey, me being a father, there's a lot there. Doctor, now if somebody wants to consult and get more information about this brain rot, where can they find you? What are your socials?
So on the social media pages, I'm at Dr. Dumi_DSM. That's DR, not the full word. And my WhatsApp line is 082-858-7033. And my
Let's have that WhatsApp line again.
082 or +27 82 858 7033. And my website is rebaonewellness.com.
Can you spell Rebaone?
It's REBAONE wellness, WELLNESS.com.
All right. Dr.
And
okay.
I was saying also if they Google Dr. Keitumetse Mashego with an E, they will find me.
All right. Thank you very much, Doctor. This was very enlightening. That was Dr. Mashego talking about brain rot of our children. And being a father of two, I have first-hand experience. Have you tried talking to a 6-year-old when they've got a phone on their hands? I don't think so.